Welcome to zSmartTheory, and thank you for joining us for this episode. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the HD Dash Camera by Jeemak, and this model is the CE12, and it's a 4.3-inch screen that's built into a rear view mirror add-on. So it just actually connects over top of your existing OEM mirror. And there's also a secondary rear view camera that you can mount above your license plate. We'll unbox this and hook it up and see how it works. And here we have a close-up of the box contents. So here's the mirror. And if I put it at an angle, you might be able to see the 4.3-inch display, the outline there. You'll get a better look at it later on. And if you look here, there's 5 buttons along the bottom. So there's a power button, a button marked M, an up button, an OK button, and a down button. And along the top, we've got a mini USB port, an audio video in port, which would be for the rear camera, a micro USB card slot, and a GPS in port, which seems to be blocked on this model as it is not a feature. And along the back, we've got a speaker on the left and the right, and then there's the main camera. Now here we have a 12-volt adapter with the mini USB cable, and it also comes with a secondary mini USB cable. The battery is extremely small, and the battery is there for the G sensor. So when the car is, again, when it's parked, if it gets knocked, then it'll turn on and record. And here we have the rear-facing camera. And the way that this would be mounted is with the double-sided tape that it comes with, double-sided tape and a couple of screws that would go directly into, it looks like directly into the metal. And these connectors, so there's 4 of them, you would use 2 at a time anyways. So they give you a couple of extras, I guess, in case they snap or you lose them. I'm not sure how they would hold up under the UV light for an extended period of time, so not sure on that, but basically they just clip on the back, and then they would go as well around your existing rear view mirror. And so the rear camera has quite a lengthy cable as well. We've got the user manual, handy cleaning cloth, pry tool, which will come in handy when we're mounting the wires. Not sure what these little pieces of plastic are with the sticky sides on the back, but we'll find out soon enough. And cleaning cloth, as well as this free surprise. So in this with this promotion, you get to choose between a mini or micro USB hardwire kit, a windshield mount phone holder plus dual USB cigarette lighter power adapter, or a 16 gigabyte class 10 micro SD card. And on the back, they have a contact address for technical support. So we're just gonna clip this rubber band around the rear view mirror. All right, so we have it installed around the mirror, the OEM mirror, and plugged in. Not exactly permanently installed at the moment, but for the purposes of this video. All right, so ready to turn it on. So the first thing you have to do once your micro SD card is in there is go to the menu and format the card. And then we're going to set the size of the video clips. So the maximum clip length that you can have is 3 minutes if you choose to loop it. And so the loop record was set to 1 minute. I'm going to turn it off. And I don't think we're going to change anything else right now. So resolution's already set to 1080. There's a 720 option. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug in the rear camera, which I haven't done yet. So now with the rear camera plugged in, it automatically actually switched to 720, and I can't change it any longer to 1080. As I mentioned, when you have both cameras recording, it limits you to 720 on each. And that's about it for settings for now. So here's a split screen view of both the front and rear camera. At the moment, the rear camera isn't mounted, and it looks like I had it upside down. So I'm just going to temporarily just set it here so it shows. It's actually filming out the side of the car right now, but that doesn't really matter for the purposes of this video. There is a wire on the rear camera that you can link to the reverse light, so that when you are going in reverse, it switches the video to the rear camera. And so now we'll take it for a little bit of a spin. Since recording the earlier part of the video, I've gotten my car back and I've been able to install the rear camera. So I'm just doing that now, mounting the wire behind the upholstery. And feeding it back through the trunk and into the lid of the trunk. And I'm going to need to solder it. There's a red wire which will have to be soldered to the reverse light, which will activate the rear camera. So we've got it all installed and hooked up. I've installed the rear facing camera just above the license plate. And we're just going to give it a shot. And it seems to work pretty well. While driving forward, the video turns off after a few seconds. So overall, the product is a good value for the price. I did have one major issue with this product that made me consider returning it, and that's the lack of sensitivity of that screen. It just wasn't responsive at times. At times it was responsive, and other times I had to press really firmly to get it to respond. So that's my biggest gripe with it. I'm still going to keep it just because everything else works pretty well. I wouldn't necessarily bother with the night vision. That just seems to make things worse. But Overall, it's a good value for a front and back camera. I would say go for it and try it out. And in terms of the screen size, I think 4.3 inches is quite adequate. I don't think it's really necessary to spend more to get the 5 or the 7-inch version. Thank you for joining us for this episode of zSmartTheory. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe and check out our other videos.